Last month marked 4 years since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. That's also when President Vladimir Putin enlisted schools to help spread propaganda about the war. One teacher made an undercover film about his school's indoctrination drive. The title of the film is Mr. Nobody vs. Putin, and it's nominated for an Oscar.
Как давно мы стали маршировать в школе, не пойму. У нас что, теперь Севроснак директор?
And before that indoctrination drive, that wasn't the sort of thing that was happening in that school. That voice that you hear also belongs to Pavel Pasha Telenkin, a teacher in a small Russian town who risked his life to make this film. Joining me now is David Borenstein, the co-director of Mr. Nobody Against Putin. David, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations on this film. You won a BAFTA for it, and it's making a lot of waves, and it's a beautiful piece. So first of all, congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Really happy to be speaking with you about it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's so interesting because you are a co-director, you are a filmmaker, but in this case, your co-director is someone who was making films in the sense that he was the videographer in this small town in Russia, and he winds up being your co-director in this film. Just talk about how you two connected to bring this work to us.
You know, basically, he responded to a casting call. So there was a casting call on the Russian internet looking for stories about how Russian workplaces had changed as a result of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. And he sees that ad and he actually got really angry. He said, "Let me tell you how my job has changed. I've been turned into a propagandist. I've been turned into a tool of the state that's trying to turn institutions like schools into parts of this war effort that is probably going to be tearing Russia apart, as well as Ukraine." So he got angry and he responded to this, and we ended up talking to each other, and we started this kind of plan of filming undercover in his school for 2.5 years.
For him to be doing this, and just talk about the mechanism by which he's filming, because there's this casting call. He's operating to some degree undercover, but to some degree, obviously, people are seeing him film. So just reconcile that for us.
Yeah, so in the beginning, actually, I sent a camera person to go shoot him. But after some time, we realized that he was a fantastic director himself and that he really had something to say here. And also, he had the perfect cover because he already was the school videographer. It was his job to be in that school shooting everything. And so it was the perfect cover. He stayed there doing the job that he was supposed to be doing anyways, but at the same time, he was smuggling footage out and delivering the whole world a glimpse of what has been happening in Russia these last few years. And indeed, giving the whole world a glimpse into how authoritarianism takes over institutions one day at a time.
And I'm so happy people are getting a chance to see this image right here of Pasha Telenkin and the way in which you superimposed that handwritten sort of identifier to him and the ways in which you use music as well. I mean, the tonality of this film, it contains multitudes because ultimately it's a film about these kids and this school and this classroom and this teacher sort of, at least school staff and student relationship until February 22, when things suddenly changed. Talk about the ways in which you negotiated these various tones to bring forth the movie.
Well, it kind of mimics my own experience with the film. When I first met Pasha, he kind of came to me as something of an international whistleblower. He was within the Russian system and wanting to show us something about how it works. And so I thought that this film would be a very tense geopolitical thriller. And in many ways it was. But then once we started working together, he started sending me different types of footage. Footage of him and his class, footage of his favorite students doing art projects, making rap music videos. And it just wasn't the kind of footage that one would expect to see in a tense, geopolitical, hard-hitting documentary. Rather, it felt like it was from School of Rock or Mr. Holland's Opus or something like this. So it gave us the opportunity to create a really unique tone with this film. And I think that's what makes it so special.
Absolutely. I mean, it resonates because I think audiences around the world can at least identify something about the way that that school operates that reflects what we see in our schools here. I mean, ultimately, it's kids going to school. Things do change considerably, though, after February 22, when this directive comes from the Russian government to these schools to begin allowing the military to come in and instruct kids to, as you've shown, identify landmines. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but also to sort of march, as we were seeing, and other aspects of military life. I suppose, what do you see there that perhaps you're seeing in schooling in educational communities around the world as you've been showing the films?
So, I mean, what you're seeing in this film is Russian schools becoming part of the war effort. There's been more than 1 million casualties in the current war in Ukraine, and the vast majority of these casualties are coming from small towns like Karabakh, like what you see. I think what is really important in this film that is being shown is the fact that Putin is building a new generation that is committed to war and empire. There's no doubt about this. It's something that he is saying to the children of Russia every single day when you look at these propaganda classes that teachers like Pasha were mandated to give to the children of Russia.
Yeah, I mean, and the response then from what you're hearing from teachers, for instance, in the United States or around the world, I mean, what are the things that they're really holding on to when they're seeing this?
Well, in America, people are drawing comparisons between what they see in this film and what they're experiencing. Over the last year, we've been touring with this film all around America, and almost not every single time, but many times, teachers come up to us after screenings and say, you know, I feel similar pressures to what Pasha faced in this. I don't feel like I am free to support the kids in my class. I don't feel like children have a space to learn unimpeded and to learn free from state ideology. People are concerned about similar issues. And so it's been really important for us to get this film out in America. And I think just more broadly, this film shows how delicate our institutions are. It's not that Russia was a perfect place in 2022, but Pasha's school still had a lot of space for kids to be themselves and learn in a free way. That completely went away in 2 years, and it was a reminder of how quickly we can lose our institutions, whether it's a school or a government or a workplace or anything. An institution is like a garden. It's something that you need to really take care of, or you just lose it.
Yeah, well, it is, you know, a tone that you strike with this movie that really is thought-provoking. It's framing up a lot of these conversations on education, the youth, and of course what we're seeing there in Russia, the nature of propagation institutions. And I should say it's nominated for an Oscar. So thank you so much for being on. Congratulations to you for all that movement, and best of luck as the award season rolls on.
Thank you so much. It was nice to speak with you.
Absolutely, and you as well. That is David Borenstein, the co-director of Mr. Nobody Against Putin, Oscar-nominated documentary which won the BAFTA, and obviously a huge conversation about what is happening not just in Russia, but in education worldwide. We're coming up on Inside the Issues. Stay with us.